What is up, everybody? Josh Tapp here again, and welcome back to the Lucky Titan podcast. And today we're here with Lee Caraher. She is the founder and CEO of Double Forte PR and digital marketing. I am really excited to have her here. I mean, this lady has done some amazing stuff in the PR and marketing space. I've been really fortunate to participate in some of her content and see some of her interviews. I mean, she's really covered a lot of I would say almost unorthodox strategies for agencies and companies who are trying to scale and grow their businesses in the high ticket sales space, which for all of you who listen to this know that's our space. That's the one we get really excited about. So Lee, say what's up to everybody and then we'll hop in.
So excited to be with you, Josh. Thanks for inviting me onto your podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So Lee, the very first question I have for you is really about PR and branding and really what the difference is between the two, because so many people cannot delineate between these two, and I probably can't even do it. So let's hear your belief between marketing, branding, and PR. What's the big difference there?
Your brand is who you are. Your brand is who you are, and it's not necessarily who you say you are. It's how other people say. It's what other people say you are. That is your brand. So hopefully, in our job in the PR, marketing, and consultation space is to make sure that the difference between what you say you are and what other people say you are is as short and shallow as possible, because there is no efficient way to grow if what you say you are and what people say you are is disparate and on different planets. So that is, your brand is who you say you are, and hopefully it's what other people say you are too. Marketing is the act of building your profile and identifying those people who would be ideal for your services and connecting with them in some way, shape, or form through your own work, through your own words. So we call this owned content, things that you own, things that you can control, right? In general marketing, you can control all of it. Control what you say, you control where you put it, you control what the medium is, and the medium is the message, and all that kind of stuff. PR is the often put in the marketing bucket, but it's really more about how you have other people say what you want them to say about you, right? So it used to just be thought about as media relations. It's how you had, how you talk to the media so that they would understand that you were newsworthy and that you could contribute to the agenda in that category. Today, we would expand it dramatically to include the media and pundits and influencers and, even people who don't call themselves influencers who are influential, right? And partners, right? So definitely partners, because, your platform is as big as the people who know who you are and the people who use you or who are served by you, right? So the public relations part of it, is what the public says about you. And sometimes it's through an intermediary, the media or an influencer, and sometimes it's just direct. And now customer service can be more and more customer service is part of the PR mix because of how influential individual consumers are via social media or Yelp or something like that. So 1 is what you are, 2 is what you say, and 3 is what other people say about you. And we really focus on number 1 and number 3. What do you say about yourself? How do you say it? And how do we make sure that the people that you're trying to reach to drive the traction that you want understand who you are and can carry your message forward without being paid for it?
See, and we just end the interview right there. I think everybody should should say that is. I mean, again, you blew my mind. That blew my mind right there. I've never heard it explained so simply, because I think people think that one action is going to accomplish all 3 of those goals, and it just isn't. I mean,
never going to
specific strategies for each one of those 3 pieces of growing your company.
And I think you have to start, and they also build on each other, right? I've actually just finished a proposal for a company who can't really afford what we offer, but we really want to work with them and they can come up with something. So we're like, we'll just stretch it out, right? We'll just stretch it out. And so you won't accomplish what you want to in a quarter, but we can get it done in a year. And that you will have accomplished a lot, right? You will have moved the needle appreciably. But how you figure out how to put those things together is so important, because if you just went out and just, here's my website, right? And you didn't figure out, who are you? What is your brand? What do you stand for? Who do you want? What do you want people to say about you? What will carry you forward? Well, if you just do the first thing without doing who you are, well, you've just wasted a ton of money and a ton of energy, and you will only be disappointed. So those three things together, brand, marketing, public relations, customer service, all those things together, social media, all those things together, you really do need to layer it in, right? And the thing about marketing versus public relations, social media, is marketing you own. You own those platforms, you own those, what you say. And in public relations, social media, you don't own shit, excuse my language. You are on someone else's platform. Like today, I'm on Josh's platform. Josh decides where this goes. I have no control over it. And if I wanted to control it, I would have Josh on my platform, right? But, it's social media, the analog, the word is escaping, but they can change their rules of engagement at any moment in time. LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they do all the time, Pinterest. You can't control the media. You can't tell them what to say. You can ask them what to say, but it's their platform and they have editors and they have their own agenda. So you can't necessarily rely on someone to carry your message. But at the same time, what other people say about you is actually more powerful than what you say about yourself. So having those three things, ladder up to each other and then reinforce each other in a virtuous circle, that's where we focus.
See, and I love that because it's creating an ecosystem of your company, and there's so much noise right now online. I think everybody kind of knows this, but they don't think that there's a simple solution. And the reality is that the simple solution is cohesion between your content and who you are, and not trying to fake who you are. And that's one of the things that stood out to me about your content, Lee, was, it's let's just be very straightforward, because I mean, it's pretty easy to take a picture in front of a rented Lamborghini, right? But it's another thing.
Not even rented. There's one on the street. I'm going to go stand in front of it.
Yeah, no joke.
See that. I've literally seen that. Is that yours? Did you rent it? No. It was just parked. Oh, okay.
Like it was an attention grabber, and yeah, of course it was. Oh, geez, that's crazy. See, and that's like,
rented it for the day, Oh my God.
Yeah. That's what kills me, is when people are like, oh,
I mean, frankly, if your brand is standing in front of a Lamborghini, start again, start over, go back to sleep and wake up again, because it's just not going to work. You're on someone else's platform already.
Right. Yeah. On their moving platform with 4 wheels.
Well, but you can't control. So think about Volkswagen, right? Volkswagen, I love Volkswagen. And then they lied to everyone. They lied. And they didn't just lie. They had people who were choosing to spend more money, who were more eco-conscious, and they lied to them. And they had those people contribute to more CO2 to the world than if they had chosen a different car. You can't control what VW did. I bought that car. I'm on their platform. I mean, that's what I mean, right? So standing in front of Lamborghini, you're using someone else's platform. I don't even know what to say.
See, that's a really interesting thought process, because I mean, if they're not even sponsoring you, or your brands don't align, like what's the point, right?
What's the point? There's a difference between saying, I am an ultimate consumer, Josh. I buy a lot of stuff, and some of it's because I want to understand how their marketing is working, and does it work, and does it pull all the way through? And I can tell you, most of it doesn't, right? Most of it's crap, even when it's not. But then when I find those gems, right, and I use them, I share that information, not because I'm no one pays me to do that. But by association, I have tested this thing, right? And I'm willing to say, yep, I would use this thing. When you're standing in front of a car you don't own, that you didn't earn, that, that is just going to fall down. It's a house of cards. It'll all fall down. Why? Don't spend any time on a house of cards, man. Just please don't.
Yeah. I was just talking to a guy and he was using the analogy of the three little pigs. And I thought it was such a sweet analogy, because it's if you'll just build the brick house, so just spend the time, spend a year, build it for a year, and you will never regret it. It's the foundation
exactly, right? So again, if you can't afford, what you want to afford, but you can afford getting there in over a longer period of time, do it. Yeah. Do it, because you're not doing something, those of us who are entrepreneurs, we're not doing something just to flip it. It's too hard just to flip it, right? We're doing something for longevity that will return to us or somebody else for a long time. Well, take longer to get there. Fine. But because when you do those steps really well, they're solid, they're foundational, and they can get you through anything. But when you are just making crap up, it falls apart in a heartbeat.
Right. And I completely agree with that. I mean, I'll be honest, and a lot of people don't know this. I mean, you try not to tote these mistakes around, right? I guess. But I mean, that was initially what we were doing, was going around saying, yeah, we have like years of experience and leveraging these testimonials and everything. And you can kind of tweak things to be, they can appear better than they are. But I mean, when we started just saying like, we're new at this. This is what we're doing. We've seen some great success up to this point. Our sales were just increasing. People are like, oh, you're a real human being.
Well, people appreciate honesty.
Right.
They appreciate the hustle. They appreciate, and I really, particularly for consultants and agencies who are, I've been in big companies, really big companies, and I've started my own company, and I've intentionally kept it small. For a lot of reasons. But when people know the backstory, like, this is how I know this is how my people know what they know, they trust them, right? This is new. We're doing this for the first time, and this is why we're doing this for the first time. And we might even give it to you half off because we're trying, right?
Right.
People appreciate, and particularly for when you're in the service business like we are, you cannot underestimate the power of good service. You can't underestimate the power of a good relationship, and relationships are based on honesty. And if the only thing you need, the only thing, how we sell our business is based on our relationships, period. Right. And the stronger the relationship, the more business comes. The better business comes, right? Because we say no a lot. We say no to a lot of people who don't match our profile, and that's a life-enhancing choice, right? It's a fortunate choice to be in a position where you can do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, and for you, Lee, there's so many different strategies and tactics that people employ, but yes. Really, when it comes down to it, I feel like there's like some core foundational pieces that companies like ours who are selling high ticket agency type services, what are kind of those core foundational pieces that you would leverage for them to actually scale their business quickly?
Mm-hmm. Well, first, what's really important is that it's a business decision to do what we do. And it's not, like you just said, there's so many things you could do. But if they all don't ladder up to the business, and it's not strategic to the business, it's just PR for PR, or you do a lot of stuff, you do social media, you could be busy all day long and get nowhere, absolutely nowhere. So first, the first strategy is to tie your communication to business, and not just to razzle dazzle and the number of followers you have and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to go viral to be successful. You don't. Sometimes the best podcasts are never listened to because they're the hero content, and then you use the content in other places, right? You can have a very successful podcast and never be listened to. I mean, it's good to be listened to, right? But it doesn't have to be listened to if you know what you're doing. So I think the first piece is, what is the business goal? And then based on what the business goal is, what is your communication goal? Like, who needs to know what you do and what do they need to know about it, right? And just simple, be simple, simple, simple. I think in the foundational piece on that is, who you are and what you do. If you cannot say it in one sentence, you're not doing anything very valuable. So from a foundational perspective on strategy, it's leveraging expertise, leveraging the what you offer. What is your differentiation? How do you leverage your offering and your differentiation into this very specific target audience, and meet them where they are? Don't meet with them, you don't have to be on Pinterest. You don't have, if you're B2B, you got to be on LinkedIn. That's the only thing you have to do. If you want to be in the media, if you want to be known as a spokesperson and known as an expert through the media, well, then you have to be on Twitter. If you want to, sell products that are either in the food or fashion or, crafts, well, you got to be on Pinterest and probably Etsy. And, there's, marrying your communication distribution strategy to the business is what's important, not just being everywhere for everything. And then making sure that, the message is the medium is the message. It says a lot where you spend your time. So you want to spend your time wisely in a way that is focused and organic, meaning you're not trying to cram a Twitter strategy into an Instagram strategy, because they don't work that way. And you're not trying to do speaking engagements that also, that you want to go viral. It's virtually impossible. So, understanding what they are. And so when you hire someone like us or like you, it's like, here's what we know how to do. Here's your business. Here's how we can help your business achieve its goal. And then for us, it's really important for us to say, this is what we do. This is what we don't do. We can find you other partners to do other things, because, we don't like, swimming outside of our lane. I started this company before Twitter. However, now social media is about 30, 40, 50, depending on the client, because it's the same function. The function is getting other people to say what we want them to say about the company and not paying for it. That's the same function as media relations, right? It's a negotiation. It's not a paid for strategy. So, but you have to understand how they all match together, right? And I think often marketers have a hard time with what we do for a living on the negotiations, because we cannot dictate. We can't dictate what the message is. Our goal is to coerce. That sounds terrible, but it is to coerce and convince, right? And we do that through reality, right? We do that through facts and building a milestone strategy based on reality that is hard to take down, right? Just like the Three Little Pigs. You can't if you're building your marketing strategy brick by brick by brick, it's very hard to take it down. But if you're building it with just, razzle dazzle on glitter, well, that thing will come down as soon as the first rain. So that's, if you can build your whole program on facts and what you bring to the world, how you make it better, you will succeed.
See, and I had to mute my microphone because I kept saying amen. Hallelujah.
Can I get an amen?
I'm like, yeah, that's right. Preach it. And what's so funny is that, the reality is of what your message is, it's about just being congruent. It's about cohesion and just staying true to who you are and what you're doing. And I loved, like your communication goal, right? That was one of the things I had to write down here, because, it's, if you can't say what you're doing in one sentence or less, you're doing it wrong. And I've worked with a lot of people who are like, you need to perfect your elevator pitch and all these different things. But if you really are like struggling, dancing around the thing, you don't know what you sell yet.
So true.
I can honestly say that we didn't have that until the last few months in our own business, because it was like, well, we do this. There's like 40 other things we can do. But literally what we do is we help successful entrepreneurs to sell high ticket sales through podcasts. That's what we do.
There you go.
Very, very simple, right?
And you can keep talking, if you go another floor, you can add some stuff in there, right?
Right.
But basically that is one floor of an elevator, and then you got to get it down. You have to, and that's Lee, what we need our elevator pitch. And then they tell us what they want to say. I'm like, well, first of all, you're not going to the World Trade Center.
Right.
Second of all, to the top floor, right, of the Empire State Building. Second of all, you can't count on the fact that someone's going to be on the same elevator as you and they're going to get off on the same floor. So let's talk about that sentence you just said, like boom, boom, boom. And then if you have another floor, then you can talk about it, how you differentiate. And if you have another floor, you can talk about, what the benefit is. And if you have another floor, you can talk about this stuff. But in the end, the first floor is what matters.
Right.
What do you do? Who do you benefit and how? So this sometimes is this often is the hardest thing that we do with clients because they want to just keep talking. I think the point of communication is to stop. So, a lot of, but Lee, you're a communicator. Exactly. You know what I'm saying. I'm done. I don't have to say it again. If I'm done my job, I can stop. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to stop talking and have the other person know what it is that you offer. It's hard, right? Sometimes it's like, wrestling people to the ground. Stop talking. But that is the goal. Stop talking.
See it, and people will ask all the time, like, how do you build a successful podcast? It's like, learn to ask a question, then shut your mouth and mute your microphone. That's literally what it is.
So true.
If you're watching the video of this, you'll see I'm always muting myself because it's like, I will talk too much. Again, here I am talking so much. So we've covered so many awesome topics with this, and I'm sure people are asking, well, where can I learn more about you and what you guys are doing over there? So we talked about this beforehand. Where would you like to send people to communication with you?
I think for what we just talked about, the best place to go is doubleforte.com, double-forte.com. And you can see a lot of the kinds of work that we do. And it's easy to get to me. Go to the contact page. Boom, there I am. And then happy to, we have a regular blog there. We answer a lot of questions. And if you want to follow us at Double Forte or at Lee Caraher on Twitter, that's where we have just, and LinkedIn, but really on Twitter, you can, we're talking all the time. Even though I told you just to shut up. That's the difference, because on Twitter, you don't want to be quiet. You want to be
loud and annoying.
Advantage.
I don't even have a Twitter strategy yet, so that could be first place for me to start.
My friend, you need a Twitter strategy for your podcast, and then we can talk about that.
We're going to talk about that afterwards. So I hope everybody takes advantage of that. Go to double-forte.com. Honestly, Lisa, you're a very humble person. This is what's funny, but she's built a very, very successful multi-7-figure company and worked with some of the world's top brands. If you can get some of this woman's time, take advantage of that. Get over there so it's double-forte.com. But Lee, before we sign off today, the final question I have for you is, if you could leave the audience with one final parting piece of guidance saying, this is the one thing I hope you would take away from this interview, what would that be?
I would hope that everyone understands they do have something to offer, and to get out of your own way and just offer it. Too often, I think people are trying to create something because they're not confident in the fact that they have something valuable to offer, and they muddy the waters. Get down to who you are, what you have to offer the world, how you make it better, and just talk about that.